Imagine a fortress, a home designed to keep the entire world out, equipped with the most advanced security technology money can buy. Now, imagine the owner locking every single door, arming every sensor, and then vanishing into thin air without leaving a single trace behind. No forced entry, no footprints, no signs of a struggle. This isn't a movie script. This is the chilling unsolved mystery of Elias Thorne. Where did he go? Elias Thorne was not your average man. At just 35 years old, he had built an empire in cybersecurity. He was a genius, a visionary, and by all accounts, deeply paranoid. Friends described him as fiercely private, constantly looking over his shoulder. He believed someone was watching him, tracking his every move. Because of this, he poured millions into his remote estate, transforming it into an impenetrable modern fortress hidden deep in the woods. The estate, known as Blackwood, was entirely off the grid. It featured biometric scanners, reinforced glass, and a perimeter monitored by 24-hour thermal cameras. If a deer crossed the lawn, Elias knew about it. The system was designed so that once the lockdown protocol was initiated at night, nobody could get in, and nobody could get out without triggering a massive alarm. It was a digital vault, and yet, this vault became his tomb. The timeline of his disappearance begins on the cold, rainy evening of November 12th. Elias had a video conference with his board of directors at 6 o'clock. His colleagues noted that he seemed agitated, glancing nervously off. He abruptly ended the call at 6:45, citing an urgent personal matter. That video feed was the very last time anyone ever saw Elias Thorne alive. After the screen went black, the mystery truly began. At exactly 8:15 that night, the automated logs at Blackwood Estate show that the ultimate lockdown sequence was activated from the master control panel inside Elias' study. Heavy steel shutters descended over the windows. The electronic deadbolts locked into place. The thermal cameras switched to high alert mode. From the outside, the house was sealed tighter than a bank vault. Elias was alone inside, seemingly preparing for a threat only he could see. The rest of the night passed in complete silence. The storm outside raged on, washing away any tire tracks or footprints on the roads leading to the estate. Inside, the sensors recorded a constant ambient temperature. No doors were opened, no alarms were tripped. The security system functioned flawlessly, registering 0 breaches. For all intents and purposes, it was a perfectly normal night at the impenetrable Blackwood Estate. But morning would reveal the truth. Dawn broke on November 13th. Elias was scheduled to sign a massive corporate merger at 9 in the morning, a deal worth billions. When he didn't log into the secure server by 9:30, his executive assistant grew worried. Elias was a man of strict routine. He was never late. By 10 o'clock, his assistant made the call to the local authorities, requesting a wellness check at the remote, isolated estate in the woods. 2 local deputies arrived at the heavy iron gates of Blackwood shortly before noon. They immediately noticed the silence. No dogs barking, no sound of life. They buzzed the intercom, but were met with nothing but static. Peering through the dense trees, they could see the steel shutters still covering the windows of the massive house. Realizing the security system was still in full lockdown mode, they called for backup and a tactical team. Breaching the house took hours. Law enforcement had to bring in specialized cutting equipment just to get past the reinforced front door. When they finally broke through the biometric locks, the alarm immediately began blaring, proving the system was still fully active. They drew their flashlights and systematically cleared the massive, dark house, room by room. They expected to find an intruder, or perhaps something far worse. What they found was absolutely nothing. The house was perfectly pristine. In the kitchen, a half-drank cup of coffee sat on the counter, entirely cold. In the master bedroom, the bed was neatly made, clearly completely untouched. Elias's wallet, keys, and encrypted cell phone were sitting on the table in the front hallway. Everything indicated a man who was getting ready to turn in for the night. But Elias Thorne was simply gone, evaporated from inside a sealed box. Detectives immediately seized the property's massive server racks, desperate to review the security footage from the previous night. What they found sent chills down their spines. The cameras covering the exterior showed only the heavy rain. No vehicles approached, no figures lurked in the shadows. The interior cameras showed Elias entering his study at 8:10, locking the door. The camera outside the study never showed him walking back out, he just vanished. Investigators meticulously tore the study apart. There were no secret passages, no hidden trapdoors underneath the expensive rugs. The windows were still securely locked from the inside, the heavy shutters completely undisturbed. The only strange detail was a single, cryptic note left on his mahogany desk. It contained just 4 words, typed in a standard font: unsigned. It read, "They found the flaw. What flaw? And more importantly, who were they?" The investigation quickly shifted to Elias's background. As a cybersecurity titan, he had enemies. Hackers he had exposed, rival corporations he had outmaneuvered, and foreign entities desperate for his encryption keys. The FBI took over the case, assuming corporate espionage or a highly sophisticated kidnapping, but kidnappers demand a ransom. Weeks turned into months, and not a single demand was ever made. The silence from the criminal underworld was deafening and completely terrifying. Could a rival tech firm have bypassed the physical security by hacking the smart home's mainframe? Digital forensics experts spent months analyzing the code. They found absolutely no evidence of a cyber intrusion. The lockdown command was definitively initiated physically, from inside the house, by someone possessing Elias's unique biometric fingerprint. The data refused to lie. If Elias didn't lock the house himself, then someone who had his exact fingerprints certainly did. A darker theory began to emerge online. Did Elias stage his own disappearance? He had the funds, the intelligence, and the deep paranoia required to pull off the ultimate vanishing act. Perhaps the pressure of his empire had finally broken him. If anyone could figure out how to bypass his own flawless security system, leave the house undetected, and disappear into the wind with a new identity, it was the genius Elias Thorne. However, the staged disappearance theory has one massive hole. His vast fortune remains completely untouched. Millions of dollars sitting in offshore accounts have gathered dust for years. No sudden withdrawals, no cryptocurrency transfers, no hidden shell companies activated. Psychologists argue that a man like Elias, accustomed to absolute luxury and total control, would never walk away into a life of poverty. He needed his money. So why hasn't he touched a single cent? Others point to the cryptic note. They found the flaw. Perhaps Elias had discovered a fatal vulnerability in his own life's work, a digital backdoor that compromised everything he had ever built. If the wrong people found it, his life would be in immediate danger. Did he write the note as a warning, just moments before those dangerous people finally caught up to him? But how did they get him out? 10 years have passed since the rainy night in November. Blackwood Estate now sits abandoned, slowly being reclaimed by the dark forest. It stands as a silent monument to one of the most baffling locked room mysteries in modern history. The FBI officially considers the case cold, though it remains stubbornly open. Every lead has been exhausted. Every theory leads straight into a brick wall. The brilliant tech billionaire has become a modern ghost. The human mind demands answers. We crave logic, resolution, and justice. The disappearance of Elias Thorne terrifies us because it defies everything we understand about reality. It tells us that no matter how high we build our walls, no matter how many locks we put on our doors, we are never truly safe. The unknown can still reach out and pull us into the dark. We are left only with endless, haunting questions. What do you believe happened inside Blackwood Estate? Did a genius orchestrate his own escape, or did something far more sinister slip through the cracks of the ultimate fortress? Let me know your favorite theory down in the comments below. If you enjoyed diving into this mystery, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a case. Until next time, stay safe.